Welcome to my Purpose Talk Show, where you are taught how to discover yourself, where you are given a purpose drive, where you are blessed, where you are found, where you can discover yourself, where you know you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Bless you.
Welcome to my Purpose Talk Show. My name is Omolade Aderemi. On today's episode on the show, we have Purpose interview with our guest speaker. She's a student of Aderemi University, Faculty of Law. She has a ministry to mentor young people. On today's episode on the show, she'll be sharing with us on her purposeful journey. Welcome with me on the show, Miss Omolade Aderemi. Can you tell us about yourself?
All right, I am Omolade Aderemi, although people call me TLE. I'm a part 5 law student and I'm an addicted lover of God. I love seeing people grow. I love people being in alignment with what God will have them do part-time and per moment per season. Being at the center of God's will for you. That's just a word.
All right, Ma. So what can you tell us about your understanding of purpose?
All right, purpose is, I would say, a summary of instructions God has given you over time. You know, a lot of people feel purpose is something you just know you do. Yeah, purpose is something that over time you work with God. He tells you do this, He tells you do that. It's not something you get your understanding in a day, in a week. Because as you go deeper in your work with God, you begin to see another part of yourself you never knew existed. And then you begin to see, and then there are some assignments He gives you for season. Sometimes it then lingers into what you do for years. Do you understand? So it's like God is saying, or you just started your work with God, and God is saying, you know, your voice to the nations, your voice to the nations, your voice to the nations. And then another time God says, okay, so you are joining this ministry, you are doing this, you are doing that, you are doing this. As you progress, everything begins to make sense to you. At some point, there are some instructions that would not make sense to you. But definitely, when you progress in your walk with Him, you begin to look back and say, oh wow, I now understand why He said. But at that moment, it looks like you're struggling with that instruction. And oh boy, everything is in this book called purpose. It's your purpose journey. It's all embodied in you discovering purpose. Because your understanding of purpose right now, I must tell you, is not the same understanding of purpose you knew 5 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I think that's just it.
Okay, so in essence, she's telling us that your purpose is a summary of God's instruction for your life. You don't discover purpose in one day. You hear from God part-time, and as time goes on, you understand what He wants you to do as per purpose. And she also mentioned that purpose is a long-time thing. It's not something you fulfill in one day. It's a step-by-step process.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I believe you've discovered God's purpose for your life.
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us when you discovered God's purpose for your life and how you discovered it?
Okay, I think it would be right to say, when did you start your work with God? Because for me, that's how we all discover purpose. You start your work with God and then you discover purpose. Okay, for me, well, it takes me back to secondary school as an SS1, SS2 student. Then I think I was just pretty 15 years old. And I was just loving God and doing stuff and all that. But for me, it was just one of those things that you do at your early stage, though it looked like what I was doing was not making sense at that point. But it was part of the whole process and journey. Now I can look back and I thank God for that stage.
Okay.
So yes, I can say I started purpose when I was 15.
Okay, so you started your work with God, which is the beginning of discovering purpose. So that's an introduction. You've not hit the nail on the head, but that's an introduction. So having begun your work with God way back 2015, I'm sure there was a particular point that you started hearing from God that Omolade, this is my plan and purpose for you. This is what I've called you to do. This is who I've made you to be. So I need you to tell us on that note.
All right. Well, you said 2015, 2012 actually.
Okay. 2012.
All right. So that I can say that was when I was in SS2. That was in 2013. That was around February, January. You know. This is going to make me go into details. Okay, so as a young girl, I went to federal school and I was made an executive, and the whole purpose journey started as little as it seemed. it started there. I remember that myself and my friends, we had one clique then, always fasting, always praying. I think that was when we did our first marathon, and it was not funny. The experience was not funny. I'm telling you.
Can you speak more?
That experience was not funny in any way, but then it made sense, because by the end of that, I could go back to my journal and say, okay, because I really wrote down stuff that God told me that period. I remember Him giving me words as per 10 years, as per 20 years, as per, okay, this is what you would be doing and all that, but it never made sense. Of course, it doesn't have to make sense. It might not make sense at that point, but as time progressed, although at the point I just forgot about that thing, like that piece of paper, to me just seemed like a piece of paper. But as time progressed, as we moved with instructions, and then He begins to tell you, do this, do that, take this course, take this, submit to this person, move with this instruction, hold this meeting, read this book, and then it's like everything is bringing you closer to that vision. It's just like your daily activities bringing you closer to vision, or your seasons bringing you closer to a vision or God's plan for you.
Okay, thank you. So now you've really gone in details on how. Okay, so can you tell us your purpose statement, like in a sentence, 2 sentences?
All right. I think people around know that already.
But the audience don't know that.
All right. Okay. So my purpose is bringing 2 billion souls to the kingdom, the gospel to the ends of the world. 2 billion souls to the kingdom, using different means and different strategies.
All right, so your purpose is to win souls for Christ as far as 2 billion souls. Thank God for grace. All right, so I'll ask you the next question. So far, I believe you started working in line of God's purpose for your life.
All right.
Have you experienced any challenges?
Yes.
And
yes.
How did you overcome them?
I think one major challenge in fulfilling God's purpose for you is this thing called fear. Okay. As minute as it might seem, the devil uses it because it brings up your past, and it's like you don't fit into the picture. Or maybe still or probably the Spirit of God is telling you to take a major decision, coming out of your comfort zone, and you're like, oh wow, like I don't like coming out, I prefer staying at the back door. But that's not God's plan for you. He wants you to be a forerunner. He wants you to engineer His course in different aspects. So that thing called fear is the root of it all. Once fear can be dealt with and you're consistent with what God will have you do, consistency with what God will have you do, then you're fine.
Okay, so you are telling us that a major challenge to fulfilling purpose is fear.
Yeah, fear.
Okay,
and then sometimes structures around you.
Structures around you, like
structures around you. Some people have issues with parents.
Okay, like your parents not giving
like your parents saying, let me use this word that your parents to say, like, we know God. We were in the church before you came in. That kind of thing. I believe you understand that and you can relate. And then they start telling you, I want not to share nígbà tí I was school, we're always, now sports, you were always going to sports. So God bless you, your parents went to the school you went to. They start telling you histories and all that. But fine, they might have a glimpse. Funny enough, like I am 100% like parenthood and all, but yeah, it comes to a point where we need to sit down and talk and be like, okay, fine, mom, dad, you gave birth to me and all that, but this is what God will have you do. You talk to them. If you feel like it might not work, then start praying about them, because the heart of the king is in His hands. There are different challenges, different strokes for different people. What is a challenge for someone might look like. For some people, it's financial challenge. For some people, it's the structures around them. For some people, it's just funny things. So different strokes for different people, and challenges can slow down purpose.
Okay, having an understanding that challenges can indeed slow down purpose, how would you advise people to overcome those challenges?
Like I say, and I would keep on saying, one constant thing you should not do away with is your relationship with the Holy Ghost. if you are on the scene of something, probably you're the lead pastor of a church, if you don't consistently work on your intimacy with the Holy Ghost, you will sap out at a point. It will sap you out. And people don't know that sometimes there's something we call spirit within, spirit upon. Yeah, I won't go into details of that because of our time, but then you're going to sap out if you don't consistently fellowship with the Father. That thing should be your number one thing. Before you minister to everybody, you need to be ministered to yourself. You have to have a relationship, because that's going to keep you on your toes. It's going to make you sensitive. It's going to make you see beyond normal. It's going to create a situation whereby you are in tune with what God will have you do per second and per minute. And for everybody on the journey of purpose, that is something you should not toy with.
Very true. So what you are trying to tell us is that a strategy, a solution to overcoming challenges is to maintain a consistent fellowship with the Holy Spirit, because that's where wisdom lies. All right, thank you, Ma. So I believe you have a ministry. Can you tell us more about your ministry?
All right. Yeah, my ministry is still taking structures. We're still trying to put one or two things together. So for the moment, I would say primarily what I just do. There are different, of course, you know that there are different faces of me, of Lade or TLE, but the one, that one thing that is still cogent, that is still saying to people around is the fact that, okay, fine, she's a mentor speaker, she's a prophet, she's called to be a prophet and all that, but they are still, ministry for me is still evolving. We're still evolving, because I don't want to step out into something I'm not sure I've heard God about. And even if I've heard God, like, Baba, you have to give a strategy about this.
Okay. So, what is your advice to people watching regarding discovering God's purpose for their lives?
Okay, I noticed that people get caught up in the ephemera of God has told me this, God has told me that, or I have passion for this, I have passion for that. May I tell you that passion sometimes is not purpose. You have to clearly hear God and all that. And fine, everybody would manifest that. You know, there's this cloudy thing about the purpose. Everybody's talking about purpose, purpose. But one thing you should not run out of is that stage where you need to, bear your roots downward. Everybody wants to be on the forefront. Everybody wants to be in front of the show. But you need to be properly pruned. Another thing people shy away from is character. I tell people, there's really nothing you want to preach if your character has not been properly formed. Character helps you maintain a lot by the time you get up there, and this thing is in stages. Sometimes you are like, I'm not proud person, and the Spirit of God is telling you, deal with pride. So purpose is not just that thing that people just, okay, I discovered purpose. There's a process to this thing. There's the pruning room. There's you hearing God, the consecrations. Your own consecration can be different from mine. You need to know what works for you.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much. Okay. So quick one. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh wow. Okay. For me, not just bringing souls to Christ, but creating systems that even after I've gone home to be with the Lord, it still meets when God, when rapture happens, when God decides to call everybody home. Systems. So it's not just about the spirituals. I'm talking about the finance, technology. I'm talking about education. I'm talking about the legal aspect. Those three things for me are major.
All right. So how can the viewers reach you? They want to reach TLE. How are they going to reach you?
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll just drop my mail. Okay. My mail address is ladeaderemi@gmail.com. So if you need to reach me, you can easily drop a mail.
All right. We've come to the end of Purpose interview with Omolade Aderemi. I believe you've been blessed, and the Lord has spoken through her to us concerning one or two things regarding our purpose. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of my Purpose Talk Show. Till we meet again. Bye.
Bye.
Jesus, you're